And it's starting. All right, guys. What's up? This is Justin from Justice League Swag here, and today we're going to be doing a world talk on Magic World, one of the most difficult worlds to play in the meta right now. So we'll start it off with introductions. We have Mr. Andres. What
How's it going, guys?
what do you primarily play? Well, in
I permanently play Osmodite and a little bit of Pillars.
okay. So Osmo died that. And then we have Mr. Michael Charmack.
Hello.
It's also Mike's birthday today, so wish him a happy birthday, either on stream or on Facebook. And Mike, what do you primarily play?
Magic World, Pillars specifically. Most
Okay,
people probably know that.
yeah. So, okay, so I guess we'll start it off with Pillars since both of you guys played. How is Pillars in the current format?
Probably the
Uh,
weakest of the three decks to play in the meta.
oh yeah, it doesn't have a lot of good counters to all the can't be destroyed, can't be returned, and it can't keep up with ambush at all.
It's not even that it can't keep up with the ambush. It's everything that goes into it. It's all the other things that happen. It's the Hades falls. It's the sneak attacks hitting your set spells, etc. Taking things off your field you can't replace fast enough. So like
Yeah.
Magic World kind of got the OTT treatment from Vanguard, whereas like what was OTT's thing in the beginning of the game? Oh, draw cards. That was Magic World's thing. Now everybody has draw two cards. Even Dragon World, the world that should not have got it, has draw up the ass. So everyone competes at the
Yep.
same hand level now. So they can take the resources just as fast as you can try to draw into them.
Not just that, but like it relies very heavily upon having the entire field full of monsters, and you'll have like the new bats that comes out that just keeps swinging as long as it hits a monster. Well, that goes all your setup.
Well, that doesn't. You have the bounce spells to solve that. You don't need to bounce the bots. You bounce your monster and he fails.
But you only have so many of those.
Yeah, no, that's true. But how you draw into them throughout the game. It's the situation of do I have the answer at the time or not. If not, it sucks.
Exactly.
So that's just 72 pillars. Have you been trying the variant with just Asmodee.deck? Because I know they have like a impact for it, right? Like
Yeah,
Eternal.
but that's such a shitty impact. You have to check your top five for Asmodees. So like anything you've used already in the game, like are gone because we don't have the shiny Asmodee card yet. And even then, I
No.
wouldn't want that card. That card sucks.
Yeah. So the only way you have to get them back are what is it?
Double advantage.
Fever?
Nothing
Yeah.
that puts it back in the deck. Which at rolling eternal rolling backdrop checks the top cards of the deck.
Ooh.
Well, we
Yeah.
do have great spell, Letter Knight Demon Fever. It does return all your drop zone back to your deck, but that doesn't that doesn't make sure you have the Osmodize on the top.
Yeah, it's not really meant to be a thing. Plus, in one of the three matchups, it doesn't do anything anyway, because you can't burn past the Adora if they're on Quintessence.
Yep.
So not Eternal, Gatling Hardcore would probably be a better card to try to play as an impact. Just that way you have, as long as you maintain your forward presence for the turn. I know a lot of Omni decks aren't playing, I'm sorry, Thunder Empire decks aren't playing a lot of counters removal anymore. They're playing more of better cards to make their deck function, or like the revive spell, or people might be playing Bots X again next set. You have the shields, so they don't really need to play the removal because they're going to try to kill you.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense. So, what would you say are the worst matchup for 72 pillars right now? I know you mentioned only assassins, but what about Athora?
Yeah, prisms are harder,
Absolutely.
and it's only because the numbers. We don't have the numbers to hit, and like
No, we don't.
I hate passionate trainer Asmodai But I tried him in the matchup and he helped a lot and it's still hard. Like he doesn't give himself 2k, so he can't hit, and your other thing has to be 5k to hit a base 7 Athora without shoes.
Oh.
Yeah. And I mean, I did something similar, but I used what set spell was it? Noisy Dance Room gives all your pillars
Yeah,
+1, but that's again, it doesn't hit the 9k defense Athora with shoes.
exactly. And I was working on using Astaroth and I'm Wicked from the trial deck, give your center +2/+2. And same
Yep.
thing, like with you can't get through the shoes, and then they have if they have either way you're just fucked because if they have Avatar you're getting counterattacked and it just costs too many cards out of your hand for an Astaroth. And if they don't, then they have the options of any of the nullifications plus and or if they're playing Amulet or Additional Jewel, which you get counterattacked too. So it's just a really bad matchup. You can't
Like
burn through the Authority. You can't try to do those. The only option is to play high gauge costed spells / impact monsters to try to remove the Athora.
So
or
what
play
about
Omni Die
Omnimo
as
die?
its own
Yeah.
deck.
Death Modai isn't too bad, but they don't really need to attack it. You just have to attack them and then they burn you to death.
Okay.
You know,
But you haven't tried the Omni Lord Asmodite yet.
Omni, I was thinking about it, I was actually talking about it with John the other night. Omni Modai is good for that matchup, but still gets hit as hard against Onis, and then you actually reverse your matchup against Thunder Empire, where you actually have a decent matchup against Thunder Empire. Now you have a bad matchup, because
Oh
now the
yeah.
bots can hit, so now you have a couple of things going on. You have, if they're at 4 life, which they can let themselves go to and just hold their shields, bots is swinging for 10. Drag Royale is going to make bots swing for 9. So it's sorry. So bots. I'm sorry. With Drag Royale, bots is going to swing for 13k. So multiple attacks going at your 10k defense. You don't have the cards in the hand to deal with it. So whatever you try to do, whatever works against Onis or Thunder Empire or Prisms tends to not work against one of the other ones. The three decks are kind of like a rock paper scissors formation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not funny, but not very helpful matchup wise. Like I've tried different ways to make us Omni Die work against those three matchups, but it's
It just
just
doesn't work
it's a
against one of them at a
struggle
time.
either way.
Yeah, Magic
Yeah,
World just doesn't have. Unfortunately, like I've tried or thought of so many different things. Like, I think it was I don't know if it was Brandon or you, Andres, who said it when we were in the group chat earlier that for like the last year since BTO 1, we've gotten nothing but doo-doo cards or random dual cards. It's nothing that actually helps us, and even most of the dual
yeah,
cards aren't even good. Like Shadow Crusader was really
yeah.
good when that
Like
came out for Wizards, and then other than that, everything else is subpar.
Hey Mike,
indeed.
guess what? Welcome to Darkness Dragon World, where everything that you get is useless.
I know, I feel the pain, but it's sometimes you just gotta figure out the right combination.
Yeah.
Like out of my current Asmodai deck, like it revolves around Teach Us Mode and uh, Art of Body Duplication,
What is it?
but that's about it. Those are still very old cards in comparison to Bats and Oni Assassin, and they're not going to be. They can't keep up. There was a post I saw the other day, no, earlier today actually, someone telling Bushiroad, we need more Magic World, make Magic World strong again. It's like, yes, we do, but we're not going to stay for a while. At least I don't think so. Because isn't set 3 of this? Excuse me. The next set 3, isn't that confirmed to have Katana, Dragon, and Darkness again?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Chaos.
And
So we
Carlos.
can hope for more dual world cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, it's on.
I mean, the next Magic World card we're getting is in the Dungeon Hero World set, and that's that size 3 Tetsuya and Asmodai.
Which I'm so mad about because that card is the dick for pillars. It had so much potential to be
Pillars.
good, but they did the same thing that they did with the Recifial Impact monster. They just killed it with one effect. And the Lifelink 3, that's you can't afford that. That's irrational. That's
No.
illogical. That's not fair. Like it doesn't have penetrate. It doesn't have soul guard. It's a 10-3-7 vanilla beater until it dies, and then you take 3 damage just for searching something. That's not. It's so bad.
Oh yeah, Magic World is super bad.
I love it.
But have you guys been playing Shadow Shades? How are Shadow Shades doing in the meta now?
Bats, the restanding bats, that's your answer.
Shadow doing terrible. Yeah, the restanding bots is the deck can tend to play better outs than what the pillar deck or tries to focus on. You can fit the glues into the shade deck, and they have to have the fanning to deal with, to answer that. And if they don't have the fanning, then your glue takes care of any of the botses on top of your goodbyes, etc. If they don't have the bots on the field, you don't really have to care. None of the size ones hits 5k. None of the relevant size ones hits 5k. And if they have the Arc Dragon sword out that gives +2, then you have a couple things that are good, like the double attacking green dude, Rebka or whatever it's called. If it hits a monster, it double attacks. So it's if that means they have that on the field, then that means they don't have fanning, which means bots is removable. So Shades can have those kind of answers compared to other pillars don't really play those.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
And then Terry swings at Athora without shoes, and you can make up for that difference. You could play the generic card Marching Band or whatever if you really wanted to try to make sure you hit those numbers from way back in set 1.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a good one.
So
yeah, that's a fair point.
yeah, and then against Onis you have the typical no-brainer, which takes the soul, pops the cards, so you can clear through anything that has multiple souls. So if they loaded up Rashomon, you clear through it, and now they're forced to have to deal with multiple ambushes coming out at the same time, or how they're going to resolve things as well. But on the other end, they do have Ibukis to burn you for 3. They have their Hades Falls. It's not hard to anti-setup. If they go first, set the Hades, throw the Ibuki under there, you have no choice but to lose your first size 3.
Yeah. So would a counter to
And then it takes a while to
be running the regular Joe as well? Because I saw a lot of decks aren't running Joes at all. Like I played against one guy, Sakura Fest, who was running Joe and Terry instead of running Damien.
I'm not a fan of Damien in the first place. I didn't play him when I had the deck. I would rather play the Joe just for the option to burn 6.
Yeah.
That could just be so detrimental. I actually went to a bigger event near us. It wasn't like a local. It was bigger than that, where I actually played against the deck and I won game 2 from burn 6 and I took the match.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's just a lot better. Granted, depending on the matchup, again, if they have a Quintessence Athora on the field, you're not doing anything. But if they don't have Quintessence Athora, that can shut down all their plays. They don't get their charges from Brush Uppers. They don't get the destruction effect from Sheldray. So that could be a lot more useful than Damien going pop a card.
Well, it's Joe does something huge to a lot of decks that a lot of people don't realize. Like a lot of decks don't run damage reducers. So one thing that I had happen to me is like he forced me to use a Black Dragon Shield before even entering battle. So it's like once he entered battle, I had no defense spells, and I ended up taking 9 damage from the Terry once he reset the field, and then an Impact Joe that he called over. So it's like that, like I lost, like, I ended up losing. That was like and it surprised me because that was my first time ever losing the Shadow Shades. Like, this guy was really good. And I don't remember his name. Then
That's why I like Joe.
another thing that first turn Joe going all in can do is if you're going up against the Thor match and you go first, if you can burn them for 6, a lot of their cards aren't going off now. Like the
which is what I
Sheldreds,
mentioned.
if they're still running those, they're not good. The Starjack boost, can't use
Shelter
it.
is actually still good in the deck, but that's a talk for something else.
Yeah. But in the Star Dragon, I just say Sheldra just because the Star Dragon World chat that we had, a lot of them said that they're like side decking it down instead of main boarding. But
I didn't see it. What were they saying? What were they main decking instead of it? Indigos and stuff?
yeah, it was just basically they were running most of the new stuff and dropped a lot of the old stuff, like Gelato, stuff like that.
Okay, I got you. And then like what you mentioned, then Joe's also a size 2, so he kind of fucks with their mindset for playing Hades Fall. That's why a lot of people didn't like Wateroo. I actually really like Wateroo when Wateroo comes out. It's a size 2 Terry, so again, it messes with their numbers. It lets you set up different kind of formations. It lets you play a different kind of deck. Like, I was messing around with an idea where you could actually play Mad Dancing, the 100 Demon spell that gives all monsters move. And like, you can play Murkuro and stuff in the deck, and now you have a triple formation. And then you get 4 attacks off.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, then if you throw Impact Joe on there, Impact Joe can move. Yeah. So... I don't think Water is bad. I think, again, it's better than Damien. Damien was bad in Shades and it was bad in Executioners for being the Lord of the Masked Executioners.
I like when my entire time playing Executioners, I never used Damien like at all.
Yeah, no,
there's just better options.
Significantly.
All right, so that's Shades. How are they doing competitively? They just don't like to see what only Assassins with Ibuki going crazy, and then I guess Prisms they can pretty much shatter through that wall.
They can try to. It's who gets hit first, because same thing. Avatar Thora counterattacks it all the time, and it's just extra souls you're losing. So it can hurt a little bit, and then they have the burn. So it's kind of who hits through first.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I will say, if you know how to play Shades, you can rebuild that wall quite quickly and quite efficiently with a good amount of soul. But again, that's not going to matter if that's going to be torn down next turn immediately.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's like when I'm playing Onis versus Prisms, I'd rather deal with Quintessence of Thora. Because I'd rather deal with a double attack than every time I swing I lose something. So I feel like I'd be the same thing for Shades. I'd rather try to, deal with extra attacks where I can block one rather than when I swing, I lose 2 souls, and then they swing. So they really get 3 compared to just 2.
Yeah. Thor is such a pain.
The entire meta just kind of shifted towards this more multi-attack base. Like where before you can just sit on a wall and it'll actually mean something. Now it's like, oh, that's the wall, that's cute. It's going down.
Yeah, I mean, I actually like that about the meta because I used to go bored playing like in the size 3 meta that we had like 2 years ago. Was terrible. It was like everybody was playing size 3 variant of whatever world they were playing. So I think that was the one reason why I won, because of Baybard, just because everybody was playing size 3s. I'm just like, okay, well, Greybard, blow it up, deal you 3, and then like, okay, Soul Guard. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Then Devil Stigma, kill Greybard, play another Greybard, blow it up again, and it's like,
Greybard for a day.
I actually like that Bushi is making the meta like it's more ferocious. It's like you can't just sit on one monster all game. A lot of the monsters have to evolve, like Jaeger, Dynamite. So
it used to be one deck. Now it's like I'm gonna kill you
But they're evolving what they choose to evolve. That's the problem. You know, it's
Well, I
back
That
mean,
is
to
true.
main character
Like, why
Bushiro. Dot.
we had a
why can
problem.
I not have an Osmona double attack that
Oh
isn't
Weak
no,
size 3?
champion wrestler.
yeah,
Yeah,
no,
well,
no,
yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah,
no. We had a problem with that for a long time. Like when, for example, when Dungeon World was first released, it hit the ground running, and Bushiro actually apologized for creating Dungeon World and making it as broken as it was because they weren't expecting players to play it that way.
to
Pick it up.
It's like
hybridize the deck
you're
so well.
really running like all spell decks and only the best monsters. Glory Seeker goes off. It's like with your deck is like 70% spells. Of course it's gonna go off every time. You revive and then you gain mass advantage back again and just kill your opponent.
Yeah, but they
And I
kind of
feel
like,
like
I feel like they took that apology
Oh, yeah.
back by saying, fuck you. Now we're saying impacts that you can't revive.
yeah. So now
And
I
good
feel like
job. You only, and like the Empire one is like dumb. Oh, you played half the game, you dealt 5 out of the 10 damage? Alright, let's shake hands.
oh
Good
yeah,
job playing half the
that,
game.
that impact is just stupid. It's like, oh yeah, you buddy called, but you still messed up, bro, and you took 3 attacks. So that first poke in the beginning of the game and 2 of these, like all of these, 5 double attacking cards I have on my field. Yeah, I'm sorry, bro.
Oh, and you thought I had no gauge? You thought I only had 1 gauge? Oh, bots link. Oh, look, I have 3. You fucked up.
Bot link.
That's why one
Fucking
thing I do
broke
love
card.
that a lot of decks have, like even Magic World, the ability to call a monster to your field counter that saves your life against that deck so much.
But again, Magic
I
World can't
think,
Oh, yeah.
afford that. We don't have that draw advantage
I
anymore.
mean,
well, I mean, they have Eligos, don't
no.
they?
Eligos isn't as relevant anymore. Eligos was amazing back when a lot of shit was crit 3 and swinging once. You know, now everything's crit 2 swinging multiple times.
Dude, and it's like attacks you can't even count on the field, man, with this game because a lot of decks are starting to play like Aqua Force and Vanguard. For anybody that doesn't play Vanguard, it's basically a deck that can trigger anywhere from like 7 to 9 attacks in one turn. And it's just like they attack and switch, or
Oh, yeah.
The
restand.
difference is those are weaker attacks as it goes on, and some of them are wasted attacks doing nothing.
Yeah, so if bats were 1 crit instead of 2, he'd be more fair.
I feel like bots should have some kind of condition to get all his extra attacks every time. You know, like the one getting double attack and getting triple attack when you're at 4 or less life. That's not a terrible card. I actually like how the trial deck version was, where you get it if you have the item. You know, every bot shouldn't be able to be bam 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 bam. Like I get it, that's the point, and that's the Dragon World answer to Prisms. But they gave that deck literally every answer to everything they could need.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you look at the
it
last
doesn't even have a cost.
protagonists that they made were Sun Dragons. Sun Dragons were mediocre until like the last box set that they got of the season. Like Sun Dragons did a whole lot of nothing the entire season. I think we only saw like 1 or 2 tops with it, like since it was released as a main character deck.
Well, that's because what Bushiro tends to do with Dragon World is they make a couple things, and then you skip those things. So it started off, you had generic Dragon World, and then so that was set 1 stuff, and then plus Burning Valor. Set 2 stuff, you didn't really. Set 3 comes out, you play Thunder Knights. Thunder Knight Valors comes out, you skip that. Omnis come out, you play those. Thunder Dragons come out, you skip those. And now we're at the non-skip version, Empire. So you play something, you skip the next thing for Dragon World. Sun Dragons still didn't do anything even with the extra support.
I feel like they're doing that with everything in Darkness Dragon World though. Just skip everything.
Yeah, Darkness Dragon World got that nice little Sun Dragon treatment too. Here's a ton of stuff, and none of it really does that much.
Anything. Everything's a gimmick. But what were you saying, Andres?
Well, the only world that I see that doesn't really get that is Star Dragon World, because every set I see Star Dragon World and it's mean. Like Aster, pain in the neck, can't get through it. Style of Justice, can't get through it. Athora, can't get through it.
Yeah, it was like even when Russo started that Big Bang matter with
Justin,
it.
is it just me or is Andres breaking up a little bit?
Oh, I think it's just you. I could hear him.
Oh, okay.
I do apologize if I'm breaking up. I'm in the back country of Mexico right now.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
could be me too. I'm not sure. It's like Justin's always coming in clear. It's just you. All right, whatever. Sorry, continuing.
Yeah. Uh, I don't know. I feel like Magic World is just in like a bad spot for the first time in a long time, because I think like last year they completely ran the show. Like it was pillar toppings everywhere. So I feel like
Pillars and
that's
Shades.
isn't supporting them as hard as they used to. And then it's like when you guys do get cards, it's like they're mediocre at best. It's like, oh yeah, this is cute. This is a fun card, but it doesn't really like win games.
Yeah. And again, with
I
the
don't know,
new
like
meta, like
Passion
it's just
Punch Bella.
anti-destruction.
Yeah. So Andres, then like, what were you saying?
So, like I was saying, the meta right now is more like anti-destruction. Like all your cards like teach Osmodai or even the original Osmodai, you play it, you try to destroy something, and it's like, yeah, my stuff can't get destroyed. And then there's Chaos that says it's built into the flag. These monsters can't be destroyed. So we kind of need to see like
The Chaos matchup isn't too bad for playing as pillars, because the teacher can pop the sides that they want to use for Chaos Drain, and then you only got to hit it a couple times. Again, they're not getting that much hand advantage. So if you can clear their sides, it's really not too bad.
Yeah, I'm actually excited for those matchups because I can pop the size 30 and deal them damage with Nega Walls, and then swing at the size 30. If I hit once, you just lose. Like that's just beautiful.
Yep.
It's like it can't be destroyed, but if you hit once, it's just the player just loses.
Oh, Nega Balls, yeah.
Yep.
Pick those guys, pick them up now while you can. They're gonna be like $30.
Oh yeah, especially if that deck gets even better.
I don't really think so.
Like Chaos. I don't know.
Chaos is going to be another aggression deck.
Yeah, because a lot of their abilities
hand, it kind of limits his defense abilities.
Yeah, but you don't really need defense if your opponent's dead. A lot of their cards they're getting just break down walls.
I get it. That's what I'm saying. It's yeah,
the aggro deck, but I don't know. I don't think a lot of people even try some things in Magic World because I hardly ever see anybody playing stuff like Wizards. Because I feel like Burn Wizards would be pretty good until you run into Dragon's Y, and then you cry. Because I cry with my burn deck for Hero World every time I play against it. It's like, yeah, I burned you for like 9, and now I can't finish you.
9 damage? Okay, how much more you have left?
I think actually have... Yeah, Wizards have untapped potential that's just not really being used right now. It has soul removal, and it has numbers to hit prisms. You know, you have the soul removal against the Onis to try to force them to do things before they really want to do things. And then with the new item and Shadow Crusaders, you can actually clock pretty well. I was borrowing my friend's deck, and I clocked 3 turns in a row against somebody. And it wasn't, so the composition's not terrible depending on what you're playing. So, and then taking multiple turns against a Thunder Empire as well just buys you that time, and you put the aggression on them where there's only so many shields that they have in hand. So I feel like it has untapped potential.
Yeah. Thing was, especially with Tempest Wing being a thing, I feel like you can get through Athora easier with that. Tempest Wing, nice one, and then Never Say Never to replenish hand.
Yeah, so Tempest Wing is the better answer. you know, compared to Magic World's Darkness Dragon World Pillar dual card. It's 2 gauge
Mm.
instead of, you know, 3, and then you know, it has better stats, I feel. Yeah. And then
Yep.
and Bem gives it back to the opponent rather than getting rid of it.
Yeah. So we
So
could.
and then Wizards also have Rafaga, which is the Green Windmaster, who you know, with more wizards in drop, he goes to 10k attack and defense. He can shadow dive, so they can't hit him, but he can go under them and deal direct damage.
Oh, geez. Does it have double attack?
If you have X amount of wizards, I think it's if you have two. I think I don't remember. It's 3 or more different wizards. It gets double attack. If you have 4 or more different, it gets. Oh no, I think it's 4, 5, 6. It might be. 4 wizards gives you double attack. 5 wizards gives you +3/+3. 6 different wizards gives you shadow dive.
Oh, gee.
And then you run
That
like
doesn't
the new spell. Hello.
It doesn't sound like it's hard to pull off with what Magic World's draw power.
Yeah, no, like I said, you have the item that mills too, and you have Shadow Crusaders. It's super doable.
Yeah, the what is it? The Gold World, Magic World, Star Dragon World weapon that when you rest burn for 1.
Yeah, Hammerschmidt.
Okay.
And then you mill 2, and if you mill a monster, charge a card. So you have between that and Suzaha, which also mills you a card when you play a spell, you're always hitting something. So Suzaha is also really good in that deck. If you mill a monster, you mill the wizard out. If you mill a spell, you draw a card. So it's really not bad either way for you. And so you just get like free mills. So so
Okay.
Rafaga is 3 more different wizards it gets double attack. 4 more gets +3/+3. 5 or more it can shadow dive, and it's a 7/2/7 base.
Nice. And then also you could run the new spell that comes out in this next set. That's Dual World, Legend and Magic World Void System. If you have 6 or more different named cards, pay 1 gauge, destroy. Is it a monster or a card? I can't remember.
It pops any monster, and you need 6 or more different monsters in your drop. It's not just 6 or more different cards.
Got it.
It's also wizard
I couldn't
attributed.
remember exactly. Ooh, that's good.
Yeah, so that card can, same thing, deal with other problems from Onis. You know, if the IO targets itself, you remove the IO. You know, stuff like that. So it's a decent card.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because playing Oni Assassins, I have run into like very few situations while like trying to resolve IO skill, somebody's counter removed it. Just thought
That's
that.
why I love targeting the weapon. It's harder to counter remove that.
Yeah. Yeah, right now I'm running Elite Sword Odin, but I'm about to swap it back out for the only weapon. Because I don't know, because it's like the weapon was good, it was cute, like in the start of the meta, but now like with Star Dragon World getting all of the new support, it's like it's pointless because it's like you can't hit a Thor alone now because of the new shoes, and it gains power every time you hit it. It's like I'd rather just kill the guys on the side because a lot of people are mainboarding the redirectors.
Yeah, that's what the Oni item is good for.
Yeah,
you know, you clear those things. You know, Mural gets shut down too. Same thing. You call one thing off of an ambush and you pop the Mural and they don't get their charge and draw.
Yeah, it's just annoying because they didn't have it in the first set, and Only's hasn't gotten any new support yet.
Not till set 3, another 3 months away. Well, I guess technically in the hero booster we get a couple cards where you get the frill, and then that card's not terrible.
Yeah,
but this is hilarious.
Magic World streaming, not Cots in the World. Probably invite you back for Only Talk. But I don't know. I think I might actually try Wizards myself because they do have untapped potential, and I don't think anybody's even trying them. Like locally here, we have no Magic World players at all.
Yeah, we have
Like,
Eric Thomas here messing with Wizards, but he doesn't come down that often, and Eric will say so himself, so I don't feel bad saying it. He's not the greatest player.
yeah. So I mean, we have one person, but I don't really count him as a Magic World player, Harrison, because he hardly ever plays it. Every time he plays in tournament here now, it's either Zodiac or what did he play the time before? I think it was like Zodiac or Dungeon World. But I think I'm going to mess with it because I feel like it's in the same state that Cats in the World was in. It's like a lot of decks are good, but the problem is that it's hard to play, so nobody tests it. Everybody's just playing what's easy in the meta, and it's like a Thor, you just toss it on the board and just start swinging bats. Toss it on the board, start swinging. And then like only Assassins was like the only thing that came out of that first set for X that took thought to play.
Definitely. And that's another thing Wizards have too. They have the Dunkelheit and Licht. So the Dunkelheit and Licht can hit the Athoras and stay defensive by being able to discard and keep itself alive. So it can take two swings from bots, or it could take the double swings from Athoras. It could take a counter attack and then still swing again because it has inherent double attack.
You're talking about the size 2
That's nice.
right?
Yeah, 7/2/7.
Yeah.
Once per turn, you can discard a wizard. If you do, it gets 3,000 power, and the next time it be destroyed, it remains on the field.
Yeah, and that's pretty solid, especially when you combo it with the Wizards when discarded, you pay a life and either gauge one or draw a card.
Well, there's two of those. You have Ace, which is when you discard it, you could pay a life to draw. Then you have Straight, which when you discard it, you could pay a life to charge to. So it's two
Yeah.
different monsters.
Okay. Yeah. 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 Because I think Harrison's running those in this deck right now. I think I'm going to give it a try if nobody else is playing it because I have a ton of Magic World stuff.
I would give it a try if I had the cards. That's why I had inboxed you the one day. I was like, "Do you have Wizard stuff?"
Oh
But
yeah.
unfortunately, I have a couple of bills I gotta pay, and I can't pick
No.
up stuff just to mess around with it right now.
I do have a question for this, mainly because I don't play with them that much and I don't know too much. I did notice that they did get an impact monster. How is that played?
They
Or
have they
how
have
is it
two.
played?
The Hardy Impact is the doo-doo, just like her regular size 3 version. As nice as they look, they're the doo-doo. She's like Impact monster's like 2 or 3 gauge, and then you at counter speed you could pay 4 gauge and maybe discard a card or something like that, and you blow up your opponent's monster board and deal 2 or 3, and it's counter speed. But guess what? Everything says I have Soul Guard or I can't be destroyed by effects. So, and it's
Yeah.
4 gauge. It's like a 6 gauge combo, 2 to play her, and then 4 for the effect. So it's super meh. The other one is the Impact Mary Sue, and she's actually decent. It's Mary Sue's stats. She can't be bounced, so you can't try to abuse her with goodbyes or anything. But when she enters, you grab a spell out of the drop zone, and then if you have 4 more different wizards, you draw a card also. So she can be a +2. Well, I guess technically a net worth of +1 in your hand because you get 2 cards out of it.
Yeah. That's pretty good. But
Yeah, you
I
can
did
grab
see
your clock back or whatever you need your
Magic
stars to
World
swing.
did get a entrance spell that I really liked. I'm not sure if people use it or not, but there's a spell where I think it's 3 gauge, and for the turn, your monsters can't be destroyed.
That's
And
a wizard
can't
great
be
spell.
banned.
Yeah, that's another thing wizards have that's really good. So it's better than I think the Star Dragon World that one's coming out, but it's wizards. You need 7 or more wizards in drop. I don't think they have to be different. You just need 7 or more, and your monsters can't be destroyed, and you don't take damage. So you could bait the Thunder Empire players into using their impact, and you go, I don't take damage. Well, guess what? You didn't reduce it like the card says you can't. It just says you don't take damage. So they lose their spell, they lose their impact, they lose their gauge, and then you baited them. Or same thing, you could play the impact, not the impact, the great spell, and it works just like even better than, for Rafaga or for Tempest Wing, for the Dunkelheit and Lick Twins. That way you don't have to discard extra cards to keep it on the field. They can't get rid of it this turn. So you play that and the clock in the deck.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
basically says you can't lose this
That's really
turn.
funny.
Yeah.
Can't lose this
Okay.
turn. That's
I'm gonna
good.
give all this a try.
Yeah, I believe it's called Great Spell Elegant Icing Wall.
Yeah, I think that's the name of it. Now that I remember it.
So, what other archetypes do we have in Magic World? It's just wizards, shades, and pillars.
You have art.
Well,
Art.
yep, art.
Art, believe it or not, is a thing. It just hasn't gotten support in forever because for art for it needs to be an archetype. It needs support, and it has support. It has the stupid set spell that nullifies spells.
Dude, I feel like they treated that the same way that they did Death Rulers. It was like, okay, instead of making Death Rulers better, we're just going to make Gate Guiders. So none of that support works with each other.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the art stuff is all combo stuff. Well, I guess kind of for the most part. Gamagen is an art. You have uh, there's a stupid size 2 vanilla promo from like year 1 that sucks. For 2 gauge, it's like a 627 size 2 vanilla for 2
I
gauge.
know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, its name is like Kamaris or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, then you have the set spells and art. You have Andy, and you have actually that crit 4 wizard Merlin size 2 is actually an art, I believe. I tried the deck when it came out, and it's the play was swing for 4 with Merlin. So you'd swing for 6 with a crit 2, and then you discard an art to win. But there's just not enough art. Other than that, you just break down your archetypes into whatever you want to do with them. Pillars, you could build Asmodai, you could build Omnimodai, you could build Bounce Pillars. I still keep trying to figure out a generic good card pillar list where it's not as theme focused as my bouncing one that I made and took to Nets. So, you just play all the good stuff. But it's sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. They need to. What I want them to do is remake old cards, kind of like they did for Dragon Knights. Remake Astaroth, remake Belial. Just make the old stuff new and better.
Oh, yeah. Reprint for Beer or reprint or like a new version of him would be really good because he's still so. I think he's like a $5 or $6 card now just because he was only printed once.
Yeah, and he's like the
Oh yeah,
one
I
card in the
remember
deck
paying
that
that one.
doesn't come foil.
Yeah.
Like
Like,
I have a play set of foil nice ones, and I don't play them because I'm like, you know what? Viewer doesn't come foil. I'm just gonna play the regular nice ones.
I just recently filled out my Osmodai deck, and like I remember having to pay like $20 for the playset of Burrs because like they're only printed once and they don't even come foil. And I was like, damn, I need this, and it sucks. It only has the gold, but like it's needed. It's the only other Gates Excel that has legs.
Yeah, they need a version of him that doesn't blow himself up, or better yet, print us an Asmodai that charges cards, so that way we could get it back with Dupmodai. We
Oh
can just
yeah.
say
Yep.
fuck viewer.
Be degenerate.
I just want a doubling. I just want a double attack size 2 Osmodai. That's not asking for much. Come on, Bushra, please.
Yeah, no,
I want double
that'd be
attacks.
nice too. Like
Yeah.
I mentioned it in the chat before too. Uh, I'm tough Asmodai was almost playable, almost because you
Almost.
can't. Yeah, because you can't destroy things. Because Justin, do you know what I'm tough Asmodai is?
What is it? The size 2 when he's wearing like black clothes?
Yeah, he's 3
Guard?
gauge, top card of deck into soul. When he enters, you can discard a card, and if you do discard a card, you bounce a monster and you destroy a monster. So anything with 1 soul guard, you can clear automatically, or, if you're playing against Thunder Empire, you go, alright, discard, destroy Fanning, bounce bots, because it's just like,
Yeah.
yeah,
It
and
just
then it's
costs too
just,
much.
Well, the 3 gauge isn't too bad. You can make do with it for what he does. It's just the anti-destruction that makes him still, eh.
Yeah.
That's what I mean, though. That's why I say he's too much. It's too much for how little he can actually do in the meta.
Yeah.
And he only has a single attack and 2 crit, right?
Yeah, he has 2 crit.
Yeah.
Because they seem to go, oh, this card's good for Magic World. Alright, well, for Pillars, it's either going to get shit stats and 2 crit, it's going to have decent stats and 1 crit and a good effect, or it's just going to have, yeah, it's either low stats or 1 crit. That's what they tend to do to us.
Dude, it's like with ours, like everything looks good on paper, and then when you get it, it's just like, oh, all of this is just shit.
And
Yep,
you can't
that's
even
how it was
look at
for
the
my
pillar
pillar deck when I
support.
first made it.
You can't even be like, on paper, Passion Punch Belith looks good. Oh, he gets a bunch of crit for each pillar you have on the field. But he's a size 2.
Yeah.
And he still swings for nothing.
He's a size 2.
Yeah, it would
He
have been
swings for nothing and his stats nothing.
a lot better if he was a size 1, because we talked about that locally. Like it's no reason to run that over the original Belif that just has 3 crit. It's like you don't have to have anything on the field for him to get his damage off.
Exactly. They were just like, you know what? They seem to be going with the board presence version of the deck. Here's another card that does board presence. And it's like, stop, we don't actually want that. But I think
Forced to play.
Yeah, no, Bushiroad I think is just afraid of me building pillar decks. Once I got made that deck, yeah, because it got its tops, like set 1, I got 3rd at the New York Regional, and they printed it, hate for the deck, and then they're like, alright, it's not gonna get stuff, here's a couple good cards here and there, but we can't play against Omnis, and I'm like, alright, bullshit, I'm gonna play against Omnis, and I built a generic good card deck that played against Omnis, but lost against Star Dragon World, and then they're like, alright, here's BT XO, Triple D01, and I was like, boom, 1 box, and I made something that just destroyed everything. And then after that, they were like, all right, well, here's Sharpness Field, here's like this thing. Like, they were just like, nope, this can't be a thing. Nope. They're afraid of Magic World.
You know, yeah, I mean, Magic World did do a lot that year. Like just playing against it was so demoralizing, because it's just like, okay, enter battle up before you do anything. Fever, full field, pop, bounce. But you can continue if you so wish. And just like, well, fuck, you just bounced my weapon, destroyed all of my monsters. So yep. Yep.
Oh yeah. I have this impact, but I can't play it because you have a monster in the center.
Yeah. So I mean, I understand why they're not supporting pillars as hard, but
that's not fair though, because it's Bushiroad likes dragons and they like main characters. Because you know what, same thing, Dungeon World. They ran rampant and they destroyed, but you know what, they still got good support. There was just other things that became better. Omnis were same thing. They were that deck that you didn't skip over. They tried reprinting. They made Sun Dragons. Here's a different deck that does cool things. All right, well, yeah, Omnis are still better. We're gonna play those, and we're gonna keep giving you Omni cards, like Superior Alliot that gets penetrate double attack life gain, that makes your first attack basically useless. On top, then they're like, oh, pillars beat Omnis. All right, here's an Omni that says take a damage, pop your set spells because fuck you. And then Omnis won a bunch of stuff. So it's they still support things that do well. They just
like one thing with Omnis, anybody that invested in that deck when it first came out got they got all of their money worth for that, because that deck was like on top for 2 years. For 2 years, and it was there. I don't think it was a single rotation where it wasn't topping. Like even now, I think like now is when we're not seeing so many fifth Omni decks top. It's like it's just fucking ridiculous.
That's
But I do
because the
agree with
power
like I
creep.
feel like they really do love their main character decks. Because even like I used to complain about this all the time, and a lot of people gave me shit for it in the group. Like I'm like, dude, the Dragon Force, Star Dragon Worlds, Dragon Force, all of them were amazing. Dragon Worlds were like second, and then it's like Darkness Dragon World dead last. It's like I
Yeah, they
say
got the
something
dick.
about it, and everybody loses their minds. But it's like they love their main characters.
Like the
So it's like
yeah.
Sun Dragons may not have been that good, but all of that Dragon Force were fucking amazing.
They're marketing it to children.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. They started changing some of their art and how they, what they did with the game. But, once they realized what their player base actually was, so they still do market a lot of stuff to the kids, but they do alter it a little bit for the main players, and they didn't change their development for that. They just changed, the art for the most part. They
Yeah.
put a few more female cards
Mm-hmm.
into the game because when the game first came out, there were 0 female cards until Hardy came out. Once they were like, oh, all right, so not as many kids are playing the game.
More, but it feels like they push Dragon World and Hero World the hardest. I think Hero World is still the only set that just releases on its own. What was that, Andres? You're breaking up.
Okay, so that wasn't just me this time.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's you're
I agree with you. Like, they get really good.
What was that?
That the Hero World and Dragon World get all the support, and it's always so good, no matter like how mediocre some of the cards look.
I wouldn't say Hero World gets a lot of so good support though. Like the only thing in Hero World that ever actually did anything was Kaiserian. Nothing, super heroines kind of top here and there, and it's a fun deck to play. Superheroes are the dick, and then Brave Machines do stuff. And then what's happening with the Fleet deck coming out that actually has a chance? It's also part Brave Machine, all the monsters. So it's combining the best attribute into a new deck, and that's going to make shit actually functional. So, it's just the player base are a lot of the people that go, I want to be a common rider, and then they buy into the sets. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot about Dark Heroes. Dark Heroes kind of do things, but it's the same thing where they don't always quite get there. It's just Brave Machines.
Yeah, but they're like the only worlds that get like standalone support.
Oh yeah, Dragon World, it goes into that main character thing, and then Hero World is kind of like buddy fights. I'm trying to think of the deck. Bermuda Triangles, where they get their own support. For those people who don't play Vanguard, Bermuda Triangle is a Vanguard deck that almost exclusively gets all its support in the form of extra boosters.
All right. So Magic World, what are we gonna say? What are the most competitive decks in Magic World right now?
Wizards, same thing, untapped, so has potential to be competitive. I just don't think anyone's doing it. Shades, same thing, potential, but not the strongest. Pillars are the weakest.
Okay. All right. Yes.
But even though my girlfriend still got me this really cool custom mat for my birthday that has pillars on it, and I love it.
Oh, that'll be good again. Let's skip it down. Because I feel like everything comes full circle. I had my one of my friends, Momo, come back from from Russia, and he has like the complete Japanese deck for Purgatory Knights, and it's really good now. And it's like Purgatory Knights haven't been competitive for a long time now.
They never really were. You won the one regional with it, but I don't think they topped outside of that.
Yeah, I don't think they top outsiders either. I had other people try and ask me for advice, but I was just like, dude, you just got to be willing to lose and throw your entire hand on board. That's all I did. They're
Pretty
just like,
much, but
hey, here's 15 damage. If you don't have at least 3 shields, you lose. And they're like, oh, yeah.
yeah, that's what I was doing with the Purgatory. I actually proxied that new stuff, and I was playing with it, and I was like, wow, this stuff's actually really good. I was even teching one Murkuro in the deck because there was a combo where you play the Lord Demios and you go attack Lord Demios, attack size 0, attack with Noxious Palm, blow up the Noxious Palm, get another thing, that attacks, you kill that, stand Demios again, kill 0, attack Demios again, item attacks, Demios pops himself, gets rid of his soul, attacks again, and then you pop Demios again to kill himself, so that way you could pay the gauge for Murkuro to
Yep.
restand and then attack again.
Yep, I did that as well, too. Oh, I love that deck.
And then yeah, then that deck has the Impact Demios, which can, if they're not on Avatar Thora, you clear their field. Oni, same thing. If they don't kill it, you clear their field.
I think that was the last time I won with Purgatory Knights. That was a few years ago then.
Yeah, that was you won with that after you won with Death
Oh, no, no,
Palace,
no, no.
right?
I'm talking about what is it? A state for us Dynasty Cup. I won a Dynasty Cup with that Demios.
Oh, okay.
Just because I had to play against I think against Ein, and I just put like I called I played a Demios on top of Demios, Inferno on top of Inferno, and it's just like, oh yeah, this either have shields or you die. He didn't have shields.
Yeah, 4 card starting hand sucks.
Yeah, that was like disgusting. I think I had to play against Wizards in the final round against somebody Donovan Lomax, like one of our local players. He plays at another store though. But it was just I know how to play against Magic, especially Burn. It's like when you play against Burn decks, a lot of people don't understand. Like if they attack you at all, negate the attack. You just take burn damage when you play against burn decks. If you don't have damage reducers in your deck.
Yeah, but burn decks weren't really a thing before Prisms. Like the Magic World, the Wizard version was garbage at all times, and so was the Katana Poison Bird thing combo.
I was surprised he made it the top 2 with it because I had to play him final round.
You know, sometimes it works though. You know, like when I went to an Ohio regional, I played round 5 against. I was undefeated. I played round 5 against a guy that was using a trial deck Danger World deck that had a couple modifications.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, sometimes you ride the scrub chain, or your opponents don't show up.
And sometimes people ride the loser bracket up to tops.
Some people do that on purpose in Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments. I know a couple people that they'll lose round 1 and then they'll just play against those people up to the top round.
Yeah, I don't like to take the chance.
Yeah, no, it's I want to go to Japan too much.
Yeah, that's the dream. All right, so most competitive decks that we have for Magic World, most potential is Wizards, second Shades, and third Pillars. If you guys have any tips or tricks that you tried in Magic World, please comment and let us know. Or any decks or deck lists that you have that have actually been working. Please share those. Other than that, I want to thank you, Mike, for participating on your birthday.
My pleasure.
You, Andres, for participating all the way from Mexico. All right, this is Justin.
Buddy Fight down here too.
Huh?
We play Buddy Fight down here too.
Well, you better try out Wizards while you're down there. get them good. But all right.